Hello class, so this is going to be example number 3. So let's go ahead and see what they're looking for. So here we have 5 high school English teachers were given a grammar test. Their scores were as follows: 17, 19, 14, 20, and 20. As you can see, I already have some information already done, so this won't be a very long video, but I'll explain what we have, okay? So it's asking for figure the mean, mode, variance, and the standard deviation for this sample. So again, I always want to start with my n. So n equals 5. So again, here we have where it says 5. And again, I always like to highlight that, again, it's right there, 5. So here's my response, n equals 5. Again, I always, the first thing I do is go ahead and write down my data. If they give me mean, I'll go ahead and put mean as well. M or z-scores or standard deviation, whatever it is that they give me, I always box it in and label it, okay? It's just very helpful for me and it makes it less confusing for me. And also another thing, I always put my formulas, and I advise that, again. So if you understand your formulas, and as long as you understand them, if I ask for variance, you see that variance formula and you already know step by step, okay? So let me break it down for you. So the first thing we're doing here is the mean. So our mean, here's the formula, m equals, and then we have this wiggly sign, which means the sum of, and it's x over n, okay? So again, our n, we already know it's 5, okay? So to get our mean, again, it's asking for the sum of x. So these are our x's, right? We have 17, we have 19, 14, 20, and 20. So if we add all of these, again, here you can see some of my work, right? 9 plus 4, we have 13, plus 7, we have 20. So we put a 0 down here, and we put a little 2 up here. 2 plus 1, 3, plus 1, 4, plus another 1. We have 5, and then 2 plus 2 is 4. 5 plus 4 is 9. So we have a total of 90. So again, we just plug it into our formula. M equals 90. Again, that's the sum of x, and then we divide by n, which is, again, our 5. So now we divide 90 by 5, and we get our mean. So our mean is going to be this right here at the bottom. Again, I always like to box it in. I don't know, you don't make fun of my numbers, okay? This is a bit difficult, but I'm trying my best, okay? But here, m equals 18. So there, okay, now we have our mean. That's the first thing we got, right? Now the next thing they're asking is for the mode. For the mode is, again, the number that comes out the most, or the most frequent, right? So here we have 1, 2, 20. So that's the only number that comes out the most from all the other ones. So our mode right here already is 20. Now the next thing they're asking for is variance. And again, I always like to put my formulas up here. So my variance formula is up here. So SD squared equals the sum of x minus m squared over n. So I already started right here, my x. Okay, these are my x's. So x is 17, 19, 14, 20, and 20. So the next step is x minus m. And again, our m is what? Right here, again, I like to use my symbols right there so I won't get confused. M is 18. Okay, and I do this for all of them. X equals x minus 18. Okay, so it's going to be all of these x's minus 18. 14 minus 18. 20 minus 18. And 20 minus 18. Okay. So 17 minus 18, what do we get? We get negative 1. 19 minus 18, we get 1. 14 minus 18, we get negative 4. And make sure you're very careful not to miss these negatives, okay? Those signs are very important, okay? 20 minus 18, we get 2. And 20 minus 18, we get 2 again, okay? So what's our next step? Our next step, again, we're just looking at a formula. It says x minus m squared. So again, this is what we get when we do x minus m. So now all we do is square it. Okay, so 1 squared, we get 1. 1 squared, we get 1. 4 squared, we get 16. 2 squared, we get 4. And 2 squared again, we get 4. Okay? So now, what's it asking? The sum of, okay? So we're going to have to add all of these to get that top part of our formula. So what do we get? 16 plus 4 is 20, plus 4 is 24, plus 2, we get 26. Okay? So, again, now we plug it into our formula. SD squared equals, again, 26. And then at the bottom, it's our n. So again, our n is right here. So n equals 5. So SD squared equals, what do we get? We get 5.2. 5.2. Okay, so that's our variance, okay? Are we done? No, not yet, but we're almost there. We're almost there. So again, this is our variance. So if I ask you, what's our variance? This is what I want, okay? 5.2. So again, it's very important that you know the symbols and you're able to know what they stand for, okay? So again, in your test, it's going to be multiple choice. So for example, in this question, I just might ask, what is your variance? So it'll be multiple choice. So one of the options should be the 5.2, and that's the one you should be choosing, okay? Now, the next thing they're asking for is our standard deviation. Standard deviation. So what's our formula for standard deviation? Again, make sure you learn these. Our formula for standard deviation is SD equals the square root of SD squared. So SD equals, again, SD squared is our variance. So what is our variance? We got 5.2. So SD equals 2.28. Sorry about that. I thought I was highlighting. So, just to highlight that, okay? So that's my standard deviation. And that's all this question is asking for. So again, I don't know if you noticed, it didn't ask for the median. So you didn't have to do that. So again, just make sure you're paying attention and go. I always go one by one. Okay, what are they asking for? And obviously you have to start with the mean, right? And then it builds up and it helps with everything else. So again, that's how we do number 3.